What's going on, everybody? Gio himself, the hair. Here was the special introduction, special interview with Mr. Your boy himself, Eryk Anders, UFC middleweight contender, knockout artist, 13-4, former Alabama stud, crazy, and spent some time with the Cleveland Browns, CFL, and the Arena Football League. Give it up for Mr. Eryk Anders. Woo! Let's go. How's it going, big dog?
Man, it's going great, going excellent, man. Just, just finished training for the day, finna go for a run, and, lay it down for the night.
There you go, man. And once again, we want to appreciate you for having us, dude. For having you, big honor. We're big fans, like I said. We know you got a big fight coming up, so again, very much appreciative.
Man, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. So how are you spending your time during the quarantine? We know it's kind of a time of uncertainty.
Oh, man, I've been training through this whole thing, training, and when I'm not at the gym training, hanging out with the kids and the wife, just, maxing and relaxing,
yeah.
doing some yard work, trimming some bushes and, just some little household projects around the house.
Yeah, and one thing we were curious is, do you have a setup at your house? Are you still able to go to having like a camp with your guys, or how's everything going right now over there?
Yeah, we pretty much ignored everything everybody said about it.
Yeah.
Well, man, the thing is everybody knows that Dana White was going to be the first guy to have the fights,
yeah.
Whenever they could. So, me and Walt were supposed to fight in April. It got postponed. And so, Dana White was very adamant about, getting things going as soon as possible. So, Walt and I just decided to, keep training, stay in shape, and then whenever things did happen, it would happen pretty quickly. And that's exactly what happened. So,
yeah.
I think that, they say hindsight is 20/20, but I think we made the right decision.
Yeah, well, Dana White, he's different from a lot of other
100%.
presidents in sports.
Yeah.
And I think he actually wanted to have the fight up here. It's like an hour from where we live, by Fresno in Tachi Palace. That's actually where he wanted to host the first fights. The
fights they were going to go. They were going to be in Portland. Then they said Vegas, and then they say Tachi Palace.
Yeah.
We
were thinking about raiding the place.
Yeah.
The governor shut that down.
Yeah,
California don't play. It's definitely not like Alabama where you guys are at.
No, this is way different. Way different.
And then Florida, I don't think that they had any quarantine laws or shut anything down. Man, people are always at the beach and.
No, they're their own country, bro.
Yeah, them in Texas, they got their own thing going on.
I think that Florida being Florida is why they get to be the ones to host these next 3 fights.
Oh, okay.
I think it's for the better good, though. I think to get you guys back working, get you guys acclimated back to fighting. I think it's the right choice.
And the thing is, too, dude, we're just ready. We're ready. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been a long time, and we don't train like you, obviously, but we miss doing that kind of stuff. And
and man, I can get kicked in the head. Risk and a lot of damage. It's not it's safe, but it's not safe. So I don't think that people probably gonna hate me, but I don't think the flu is a reason to stop.
No, I mean, yeah, you have a good point, though. You really do.
And without us diving too deep into that, we kind of think it's a virus that we need to just get immunized to it. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand it is a big deal, but we need to be. We can't hide forever. We need to be exposed to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I just feel like it's just a matter of time before that happens, anyways. And, it is what it is.
No, 100%. One thing we wanted to ask you about football. We're big football fans. Obviously, you were a football star. How's life after football? Does any part of you think a couple years back or even right now, man, I miss it? Part of me wanted to go back into it. What do you think about that?
Man, I think once that door closed, I was over it.
Okay.
I don't miss it. My body never really felt very good.
Okay.
I was too big, too heavy. My knees hurt, my back hurt.
Yeah.
So now, I'm 33 and I feel better than I did at 22, 23,
wow.
24.
That's good. That's awesome.
That is
it's
crazy.
Just a low yeah, it's just a load off my body, and yeah, I wish that I would have found. I'm not, I'm super glad, and super thankful that I had my time, but I wish I'd have found MMA a little bit sooner.
Well, and and the difference in MMA, I mean, a lot of guys, they don't find their stride till they're in their 30s, unlike other sports. So I mean, you're right there, dude. I mean, you got it,
Yeah, I see Romero fighting, he's 40, 43 or whatever. So
that guy's a unicorn, though.
I think the myth of, when I was growing up, they said the athletes peak when they're 24, 25.
Yeah.
And I think because of like science and research and like cryotherapy and recovery, things like this, that the athlete's athletic career is extended by a lot. So, I feel good. I feel great.
Yeah, you started training a little bit late, more than others. How do you feel like your progression is, like from your first fight to where you are now, like as a fighter? Do you feel like you made so much more progression? Like you're still growing, you're still learning things every day. How do you feel?
From my first fight to this fight, even my first UFC fight to this fight, I think there's a big difference in the way that I fight. In terms of output. When I first started, like I knew I hit hard. And that was the goal, just to land the left hand. In my pro debut, I think I threw one punch and it was the left hand, and knocked the guy out.
Yeah.
So, I just evolved with the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and all that other stuff. So, and I'm a student of the game, and just trying to constantly and forever evolve my game.
Like how you played in football, how do you use that preparation? Football, you do film study, you do all this research before the game. They could say that most games are like even one before they're started. How do you bring that preparation? Like, do you still do that film study like for other fighters and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked out the kinks as an amateur. I had like 24, 25 amateur fights because I had no experience in this game. And I was fighting at heavyweight and 205, and people were like, man, you should, see about 81, middleweight. And, at first I thought they were crazy until I saw John Jones fight Daniel Cormier, and I saw how big the John Jones was. And I was like, man, maybe I need to reconsider this. And, see if I can make middleweight. And then I fought, 3 or 4 times as middleweight as an amateur, and then, just went ahead and went pro. Yeah.
Do you feel a lot better at this weight? Was it hard getting down because you're such a big guy?
The weight cut is never fun. The last, 2 or 3 pounds is a pain in the ass. But, just a little bit of discipline goes a long way. So, I just maintain a diet and try to cut weight over time instead of try to do everything at the last minute. No,
for sure. One thing we did want to bring up, without you coming out of the screen and kicking our asses, was the Lyoto Machida fight. Obviously, he's a huge name, right? And it was a very, very controversial fight. We saw, and we were like, they gave it to Lyoto. And I'm a Lyoto fan, but I'm like, dude, I don't know about that one. That was kind of crazy. Afterwards, we see all the media outlets saying, oh, man, yeah, that was, not a good decision. What are your thoughts on it? How did you feel after? I'm assuming you thought, oh, I got this.
I mean, man, you never know when it goes to a decision, man.
Yeah.
It was a close fight. I think I won. And I think Lyoto thinks that he lost as well.
Yeah.
After the fight, before they read the scorecards, his head is down. He's moping around the octagon there. So I think that even he thought that he lost, and he was super surprised when they said that he won. So it is what it is, man. I let that one get away. I had several chances to finish him, but like I said, I've just grown so much since then. There were times when I would hit him and he would fall back against the cage, and I would start wrestling instead of stepping back and letting him have some more. So definitely something I've learned in that fight, and I don't think anybody else is getting off the hook that easy.
There we go.
That's right. Even watching it too, the announcers were like, man, the tough fight, because like you said, he had his head down. I'm pretty sure it might have been more than 90% people thinking, oh, Anders got it in the bag, but stuff like that happens. we do know you have a fight coming up, in about a week against Krzysztof Jotko. Guy's 25-4. He has similar age to you. How do you anticipate that fight going? How's training been going for that fight?
Man, I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna push the pace.
Yep.
And, hit him a bunch. I think that he'll start to try and wrestle and strike from the outside, and then when he's in, and he'll be out. When he's out, he'll be way out. So
Yeah.
He'll definitely be the faster guy, but power and durability will definitely be on my side.
No, for sure, and we're definitely gonna be rooting for you, man. And that division itself is pretty stacked against middleweight. And I know you're not trying to look ahead and all that, because you got this big fight coming up. But man, there's some killers in there, right? Like you said, there's the Paulo Costas, the Adesanyas. Like I said, without looking too much forward, you ever anticipate fighting those guys?
Anticipate fighting what? The phone broke up for a second.
Oh, Adesanya, the Paulo Costas, those type of guys.
Man, I think those are great. Those would be fun fights. Guys that don't back up.
Yeah.
When they come to fight, when they show up, they come to fight. So I think those are fun matchups for me, and definitely a fan friendly matchups. Right
Yeah,
there
definitely.
No, 100%.
You play for Alabama, you're surrounded by the great Nick Saban, defensive coordinator Kirby Smart. Play with guys like Courtney Upshaw, guys like that, Marcel Darius. You guys had a stacked team. How does it feel like playing with those guys? Learning with those guys. Like, do you feel like you got a lot like being around those people?
Yeah, absolutely. Every day is a competition at practice, and I think that brings out the best in competitors and athletes. So
Definitely.
Whether you're a fifth-year senior or a true freshman, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and performing on the field and in practice and in the classroom as well. Because Nick Saban preaches that a lot. You can't just show up for practice and not do the school stuff. He finds a way to put the best 11 guys on the field.
And how do you feel like, that kind of preparation, that kind of like winning mentality, that kind of like hustle, like, do you feel like that translates good into your UFC career?
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely teach you how to compete, how to work, how to be competitive. Some people just aren't natural competitors, but are like natural athletes,
Yep.
So, I think that environment helped everybody grow.
No,
Awesome.
for sure. One thing I wanted to ask you, too, about your fight is everybody pretty much knows there's not going to be any fans. How do you feel going into that without hearing the roar of the crowd? Or do you just see it as any other fight?
Man, it's any other fight. Everybody's is under the same circumstances, the
Yeah.
same stress. So, it's not like I'm just going out there and, I'm just by myself. My corner will still be there. My opponent will be there. So at the end of the day, those are the only people that need to be there for the fight to go on. And the fans won't be in the stands, but I'm sure that it'll be they'll have a lot of viewers.
Oh, the world's gonna be watching, brother, for sure. I mean, with live sports not being on and this, fighting being so popular, I mean, yeah, I expect records to be broken for sure.
Probably so.
Yeah, and one last thing I wanted to ask you is, what kind of words of encouragement or inspiration would you like to tell another young, aspiring talent that maybe doesn't necessarily have, or is a little nervous, doesn't have a whole lot of drive to get into things?
Well, I mean, if they don't have a lot of drive and determination, they're probably not gonna make it anyway.
Yeah.
I would say, man, just be the hardest worker in the room. Like, show up every day, try to improve, try to get better. Accept the criticism. Be coachable.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys.
Good advice.
You tell them, hey, you're not. You should try this, and then they just reject it, or they got some smart shit to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I think being coachable is a big part of being an athlete.
Yeah.
Okay.
While you're playing football, it's a different kind of environment to like a UFC fight. Granted, I've never been in an MMA fight, but in an MMA fight, it's just you and it's just the guy in front of you. Football, you got, you're 22 guys on the field. How would you say, like, in the moment, like, the biggest difference between playing a game and being in a fight? Like the mindset, the mentality, you know, all that.
Man, you know, the one thing that's similar to MMA and football is, yeah, there's, you know, other people on the field, but, you know, a lot of times you have a one-on-one matchup that you have to win. You know, whether it be a defensive lineman versus an offensive lineman,
the trenches
versus a defensive back, you know, things like that. So there are a lot of, you know, one-on-one battles going on. But me personally, I prefer to be by myself. I prefer, you know, to have it on the line. I never enjoyed depending on somebody to catch a football, to not fumble, to make a tackle. You know, I always wanted to be able to be the guy to do everything.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, you can't do that in football. But in MMA, you know, we train together, me and my teammates. But when it comes time to compete, I don't got to worry about them, you know, catching a football or nothing. You know, when I step into the octagon, it's all on me, and that's the way I prefer it.
You only gotta be worried about Walt taking all your money on that on those little robot punches you got going on. I see you guys doing that.
I got served today.
Yeah.
It's all good though, man. After these fights, I'm gonna get my rematch.
Hey, yeah, you'll re-up. I'm sure you'll re-up.
Another thing I wanted to ask you too is, for your fans anyways, what are some things people don't know about you? What are your hobbies when you're not fighting, kicking people's asses, stuff like that?
Man, I think like the most surprising thing about me that people don't know is that I'm an Eagle Scout.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that one.
I mean, granted, bro. I mean, you're an MMA fighter. You've been a football player.
Yeah.
There's a persona of you. You know what I mean? So you hear something like Eagle Scout. Like,
yeah, you catch us off guard a little bit. But yeah.
How'd you get into that? You know, how do you enjoy that?
Man, you know, I got 3 other brothers, and my mom made sure that we were all Eagle Scouts. So
Nice.
Oh, wow.
All my brothers, yeah, we're all Eagle Scouts. And, man, you know, to be honest, I really don't have any hobbies outside of training and fighting because it's all I do.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
In the house. You know, I'll do some yard work, man. I got a little green thumb. You know, I'll go out there, you know, plant some trees. Maybe after this fight, me and my wife will have a garden out there or something. You know?
Nice.
What's up, man?
And how about some music, man? What's some of your go-to tracks before when you're getting ready to fight or training?
You know, I listen to. I kind of gave up on rap music, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I grew up in like the golden age of hip hop. You know, the 80s and 90s. You know, when people were lyrical and they weren't mumbling and stuff that they do now.
Yeah.
So man, I kind of gave up on rap. So I listen to a lot of house music. And,
Okay.
You know, like upbeat, like music to run to, and you know, things just kind of get you hyped.
Yep.
All that good stuff. Yeah, man. Do you have anything else you want to plug or say? Anything else going on besides fighting?
Man, I just want to, you know, shout out to my sponsors, Infinite CBD, Rev Gear, and you know, those guys keep things moving, and you know, I appreciate everything they do for me.
For sure, man. Well, we want to wish you, your wife Yasmin, your boys Israel and Noah, to be happy, stay safe, all the blessings in the world. And bro, for sure, we're gonna be rooting for you. We're gonna have a cam watching us while you knock that guy out, bro. So again, we appreciate having you. Good luck. And real quick too, who do you got between this weekend's fight of Ferguson and Gaethje?
Man, that's a tough one, man.
Tough one.
Yeah.
Who's the underdog? Gaethje?
Yeah, Gaethje's
Probably
the underdog.
Gaethje,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the underdog in Gaethje, man. You know, he's got the highest output of all the UFC guys. You know, I think he averages like 8 or 9 significant strikes per minute.
Yeah.
I heard I heard some crazy stat that like he has that stat for for output, but he also gets hit the most. So like that just tells you what kind of fighter, what kind of fighter he is. You know what I mean?
Brawler.
Man, it's tough. The thing, and Tony Ferguson, he's tough to finish, man. I don't know if he's been finished in the UFC.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Gaethje got that one punch, you know. I'm going Tony Ferguson.
There we go.
The guy is crazy, man. Both guys are crazy, man. You know, they're loco. They're not right in the head. That's what makes this fight so exciting and fun. So, I think Ferguson has more more tools.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
definitely.
you know, I have a feeling he may submit Justin Gaethje, but I'm not sure, man. I don't know. That fight could go either way.
Yeah, Gaethje's a dog. You know, he's definitely gonna keep going forward. He's not gonna quit. But the thing about Tony too is he fights the same way. You know, so it could really go either way. We'll see.
No, 100%, man.
Yeah, there are no losers in that fight. I feel like, you know, that's going to be great for both their stock.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, man, we again we appreciate you giving your time. We didn't want to take too much of it. We know you're right there close to a fight already. So again, appreciate you so much. Blessings to your family. Wish you the best. And like I said, we'll be rooting for you, big dog.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good one.
You too, man.
Eryk.
Everybody watch this fight. Anders Jotko, May 16th. Anders gonna whoop that ass.
That's right.